The big story, though, here and across much of the country today has been President Trump's decision to fire Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, the first cabinet official to be ousted in his second term. On Truth Social today, Mr. Trump said the former South Dakota governor, quote, served us well. He praised her ability to secure the southern border. This week, though, she faced 2 days of heated questioning from lawmakers about multiple scandals in her department, and that includes the death of a refugee here in Buffalo. Folks continue to mourn the loss of 56-year-old Nurul Amin Shah Alam. Border Patrol dropped him off at a closed Tim Hortons in the bitter cold, miles from his home. He's partially disabled and nearly blind, doesn't speak English. He was found dead just days later. Now, before Noem's firing became public earlier today, Buffalo area Congressman Tim Kennedy went to the floor of the U.S. House to say this about Mr. Shah Alam's death.
On February 24th, Mr. Shah Alam was tragically found dead. His last known interaction was with Kristi Noem's Department of Homeland Security. That fact alone demands a full and independent investigation, because when someone in government custody is abandoned and then found dead, the American people deserve answers.
In terms of DHS leadership now, President Trump says that he will nominate Oklahoma U.S. Senator Markwayne Mullin to replace Kristi Noem as Homeland Security Secretary. Also tonight from DHS, we're learning about a relatively new policy that has local refugees who are here legally in fear of detention. Investigative Post is reporting on this memorandum that lays out these new rules. A refugee who has lived in the U.S. for more than a year and who hasn't yet applied for a green card can be detained. Problem is, they usually can't apply for permanent residence until they have physically been here for a year, creating this conundrum for so many. J. Shoemaker with Investigative Post reported on this story and joins us live here tonight. Walk me through this, because it seems pretty contradictory, and then we'll talk about the reaction from people's lived experience with this.
Yeah. So over the past year, we've seen a number of these types of changes from the Trump administration, where they'll change some rule that you've never heard of before, and it will result in them having the ability to arrest more migrants. In this case, they are targeting refugees. Now, for the folks who don't know about the refugee process, it is very stringent. In order to become a refugee, you flee your home country due to whatever violence or happens to be going on. You register eventually with as a refugee with the United Nations. From there, it is a long process of vetting. In some cases, people will spend a decade or more in another country before they are ever permitted into the U.S. So there's a lot of vetting that goes on. There's a lot of background checking. There's a lot of criminal record checking. There's a lot of forms they're filling out, and then eventually they get placed through a refugee resettlement agency, and the U.S. government admits them in, so that the government is aware of them. They know who they are. They know their background. They've been vetted, and then they get resettled. Sometimes in a place like Buffalo, we've got
a lot of people here.
A lot of people here. We've got tens of thousands here who are immigrants and other resettled refugees. Now, the way it works once you're in the United States is that you have to be physically present on U.S. soil for 1 year, and then you're allowed to apply for a green card. Now, experts who I talked to about this, they say that's in the past was kind of a formality. The government knows you, they've already let you in, they just want you to fill the paperwork out, they'll process you, boom, you got a green card. Now the Trump administration is changing the rules, and they are saying once you are here for a year, you could now be subject to detention if you have not applied. Now, there's a lot of reasons why somebody might not be ready to apply on that 366th day in the country. Yeah. The biggest one is that it's expensive. There are fees associated with applying. One of the biggest is a medical exam that you have to pay for out of pocket. There's no insurance program that covers this. So imagine you're a new refugee in the country. You've just come from whatever you've come from overseas. You've got to save up money. In some cases, it could be $1,500. That could be a difficult amount of money to save, especially as you're trying to pay your rent and buy your groceries and figure out life in a new country.
And what reaction have you been able to get from folks in the community? I read in your article, there are some folks who are literally saying they're afraid to leave their homes right now, because if you don't do it exactly on that 365th day, you're subjected to detention and what, potential deportation?
Yeah, the community is really scared right now. There's some people who are saying, you know, I'm telling people in my community to shelter in place, or if you don't have a green card, you know, don't leave the house unless you're with somebody who has a legal permanent status here. So there's a lot of fear that's kind of rippling throughout the community. The other thing that I would say is that this is really having an impact on a city where like we said, has resettled so many people. There are a number of resettlement agencies here who, over the last couple of years, have brought in so many people that we actually saw a population increase at the last census.
For the first time in a long time.
For the first time in a very long time. I think 70 years is the total. The politicians, like Mayor Sean Ryan, they like to talk about the positive economic impact this has. You know, you drive up and down Grant Street, you see businesses opened by immigrants and refugees. Same with the Broadway Fillmore neighborhood. These neighborhoods are kind of coming back in some way. They're paying taxes. They're, you know, buying stuff in the community. That's money that gets circulated amongst local businesses. So there's an economic aspect to this too that could hurt both refugee-owned businesses and other businesses.
Yeah, really important for folks to realize that these are folks who are here legally, not talking about undocumented immigrants. Being a refugee, as you mentioned, takes a long time. Investigativepost.org, you can read more. Dale, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.